trend or pattern of attacks on schools by bandits and terrorists within the last decade instigates anxiety whenever it is time for a new session of academic activities. This apprehension is not far-fetched, as parents and guardians and even teachers alike want to be double sure of the protection and safety of their children and wards while in school. Good enough, the onslaught by the security forces against the enemies of state has brought about a feeling of relief and respite to citizens in recent times, but with greater expectations that the bombardment will be sustained to keep the peace. Now, what are the safety measures and mechanisms put in place for the protection of pupils and students in schools and other learning environments for the new academic session and beyond? What assurances are there for parents and guardians that there is no cause to worry? Improving security in schools is our focus on 30 Minutes today. Thanks for joining us. I am Mitaire Ikpen. Experts believe that when education is attacked, a generation is attacked. Conversely, when education is safeguarded, the future generation is also safeguarded. Ekene Ndulue, in our first report, takes us down memory lane on the wave of attacks suffered by the educational sector within the last decade and why the security of schools, as well as pupils and students, cannot be compromised.
14th April 2014 was a date Nigerians can never forget. A day when citizens woke up to the grim reality of the abduction of 276 students from Chibok Secondary School in Borno State. The outcry that followed this act, both domestically and from the international community, was unprecedented, giving hope to Nigerians that such would never happen again. Alas, the Chibok girls saga was not to be the last. On 19 February 2018, barely 4 years after the attack on Chibok, insurgents took their onslaught to Yobe, another state in the troubled northeast region, and abducted 110 students from the Government Girls Science Technical College in Dapchi, Government Science Secondary School Kankara, Katsina State, Government Science College Kagara, Niger State, and Government Girls Science Secondary School, Jangebe, Zamfara State, were some of the schools that got a bitter taste of the spate of attacks on schools in Nigeria. But why are these insurgents targeting institutions of learning? We spoke to a security expert on the issue.
The reasons why schools are a target is because, first off, the benefit that those who attack them stand to gain is enormous. So if it's financial resources, if the objective is to collect financial ransom, they are able to abduct a lot of people at the same time. Now the second component is that the resistance that they usually get in schools, schools are soft targets, the resistance is low, and so it's very easy for them, for instance, to enter the schools and abduct as many as they want to. The third element rather is the inability of our security forces usually to follow them, and rescue these abducted persons. So in the long run, they do collect this ransom and they're able to spend it without any consequences.
Most of these schools that are attacked, you find out that the security situation in terms of guard is poor. So that may be responsible for the number of attacks in the institutions.
This level of insecurity, in addition to some other factors, have deeply affected education in the country. A recent publication by UNESCO shows that Nigeria has about 20 million out-of-school children. UNICEF, on its part, puts the statistics conservatively at 18.5 million and goes further to rank Nigeria as having the world's highest rates of out-of-school children. While these statistics have been contested by the Nigerian authorities, experts believe this portends danger if drastic measures are not taken.
It's really a major problem for the economy. What it means is that a lot of people in the next few years will be such that they are not at all literate. And that kind of danger is that they will not be in a position to help themselves in terms of catering for their family. They will not be in a position to contribute to the development of the economy, and they will therefore become burden to the nation. And that is going to spell doom to the development of the economy itself.
The implication is that the future of Nigeria is threatened if we cannot have educated, young ones who tomorrow will take over from, us who are now the elders, the leaders. Then, frankly, the future of Nigeria is threatened. Our national security, in whatever ramification, when you look at it, once we cannot provide education for our young ones, then our future as a country is threatened.
Other multiplier issues like insecurity has taken over, because when the children that are supposed to be in school are not in school, what is the consequence? The fallout.
From our primary curriculum to secondary curriculum and post-secondary curriculum, safety education must be introduced.
The Minister of Education is living no
Ajia Binta Abdulkadri is the Director of Basic and Secondary Education at the Federal Ministry of Education, and she says government is already tackling the issue of out-of-school children with the hope that the numbers will go down.
The Minister of Education is leaving no stone unturned in mopping up all the street children back to school. It was before, but there is a drastic reduction on the out-of-school children because there are so many programs that were brought on board to see that children are back to school. We have the BESDA, the Better Education Service Delivery for All. We have the Agile, and we have enrollment drive campaigns that were all geared towards taking the children back to school.
However, attacks on schools constitute a clear and present danger and has moved beyond the crisis-ravaged areas of the Northeast. The terror scare that led to the closure of Federal Government College Kwale in the FCT in July this year was another reminder to the authorities on the need to implement measures that will ensure safe environment for learners in schools. Ajia Abdulkadri says government is as concerned as citizens and is not leaving the issue unattended.
To ensure that children learn in a safe, friendly environment where we can be proactive and security conscious, we are. And where we need intervention, we ask for intervention. But in the long short of it, schools are resuming, and children, by the grace of God, will be safe wherever they are. Recently, when we had issues at Kwale, we evacuated the children that were in the exit classes to some safer places to continue with their exams. And those are some of the actions we've been doing just to make sure that we are secured and the student also feels secured and be able to learn without any cause for alarm. If you could recall, we had the banditry attack in one of our schools in Birni Niauri in Kebbi State. The ministry is engaging the Kebbi State government to get a safer place for learning for those children, just to avoid the traumatic feeling when the children go back to the former school they were.
The good thing is that the Ministry of Education in 2019 started a process, and currently there is a policy for safe schools but is domiciled in the Ministry of Education, and I think they are currently galvanizing stakeholders to start implementation of that policy. It's a comprehensive policy that looks at all aspects of school security, from the physical security, which means construction of fence, to training of students, staff, non-academic and academic staff, contractors, as well as the security departments themselves. Let's not forget that in places like Borno, you can see the military occupying schools, denying students from actually using the facility for education. So that policy has taken care of that effectively. What remains now is the implementation of that policy. We are hoping that the policy will not go in what happened to the Safe School Initiative, which was initiated in 2014, and the Safe School Declaration, that this policy would implement it and we'll see the result. I have reviewed that policy, and I would say if we implement it, then we'll have safe schools in Nigeria.
In 2021, Nigeria ratified the Safe School Declaration and has recently renewed commitment to secure schools against attacks.
Moving forward, our faith in the nation remains unshaken. We are strong, we remain so, and we're determined and robust in order to enhance the security of our learning institutions and the occupants therein.
It is time again for resumption of schools. Concerned Nigerians are hoping that the recent onslaught against bandits and terrorists will be enough to keep them away from the schools.
Of course, Ekene, not just from the schools alone, but Nigerians want terrorism eliminated from every nook and cranny of the country, and there is consensus that no breathing space should be given to terrorists or perpetrators of criminality in any part of the country. In the wake of the series of school attacks as chronicled earlier by Ekene, the Safe Schools Declaration was endorsed by scores of countries in 2015 and ratified by Nigeria's Federal Executive Council in 2019 as a political commitment and policy guide to ensure the protection of children from attacks in schools. Where are we in the implementation of the Safe Schools Declaration, and what are the measures put in place by key players to guarantee safety during another school session? Let's find out in this next report by Thomas Mitaire.
As primary and post-primary school resume for academic activities after a long break, the safety of school children is paramount in the minds of parents and guardians. This stems from the aberrant manner some schools were shut down last term on account of perceived and real security threats in some parts of the country. In states like Kaduna, Zamfara, Katsina, Niger, some schools have remained shut for longer than necessary, no thanks to the activities of bandits and terrorists at a time, which served as a wake-up call for the security forces to intensify the fight against terrorism. State governments are, however, leaving nothing to chance to calm the nerves of parents and guardians that every measure is being taken towards the safe reopening and resumption of schools.
The FCT schools, like all other sectors of the FCT, have been provided with enough security measures, but specifically on the security of schools, we have increased or doubled the number of security men in each of our schools, especially the boarding schools and the schools at the periphery of the capital territory. We have done well in constructing perimeter fencing, and right now we are in discussion with some companies, security organizations, that will provide devices where alarms could be triggered from any distressed school to the various security organizations like the police and the DSS.
The Federal Capital Territory Administration is also collaborating with the security agencies in Abuja and its suburbs to ensure the protection of school children using mechanisms under the Safe School Declaration.
You see, security in the school is the business of everybody in the community. We pay vigilantes. Initially, we used to have only 5 per school. Now we've been given the authority to recruit up to 10. We have 10 in each of the schools we have. both those of them in the city, in the federal capital city, and those of them in the schools in the periphery, in Puje, in Abaji, and Kwali, in schools at the border with other states. Now, but beyond the security men we have recruited, we have also sensitized these communities and placed our schools in trust in the hands of our community leaders.
On the part of UNICEF, engaging in high-level advocacy for public investment and coordinated response to school safety are crucial.
To start with, this year has been a fantastic year for Nigeria. There is no occurrence of school attacks so far, thank God. This doesn't mean we need to, let's say, take out our guards, but at the same time we are redoubling our efforts to ensure all schools in Nigeria are safe. So this is the thing with this word, the Safe School Declaration has several components, and one of the component is to vacate the schools occupied by the military. And when we collected data around Nigeria, we found that nearly 800 to 900 schools so far where military has been occupied. So UNICEF along with the partners are coordinating with government and also the security agencies and ensuring all the schools premises need to be vacant and to be used for the educational purposes. And it will take some time, but already the work has been taken by our colleagues and in coordination with the ministry and other partners in the field. So this is one of the key things. And the second thing is around the collecting reliable data of around safe schools. UNICEF is now working with the ministry for both at the state level and the federal level, trying to integrate the key data points on safe schools in the EMIS, that is your Education Management and Information System. So this is in process, but by end of next cycle of EMIS, you can see the key indicators on safe school are featuring, and henceforward the data will be collected regularly. So this is the second part, and the third part of the safe school declaration is about the provide assistance to the victim. That means once the children or the teachers are part of this, let's say, part of this school attacks, so how we are going to provide them adequate support in terms of the psychosocial assistance and all that.
Also of priority is the need for the state government to deploy multi-sectoral coordination for security of schools and encourage the setting up of early warning systems. Experts advocate increased public and private sector financing for safe school, particularly to facilitate the deployment of adequate security personnel in schools. They believe that all stakeholders and even communities where schools are located have their roles to play in ensuring not only safe schools, but the safety of pupils and students.
We need to look at the macro level, particularly at the stakeholder level and the systemic level. There is not adequate costed plan, or let's say the finances, public finances to support safe schools. So at the top of the agenda is to how we can galvanize all the efforts at the ministry level, and also the both at the public and private partners to go for a high level advocacy to encourage government and other partners to invest more to building the infrastructure such as minimum basic is the fencing, maybe at the security guard at the school level. So these are the things we need finance. So first of all, we need to galvanize all our efforts to advocate for public financing for the safe school. This is at the top level. And the second is about to coordinating, particularly there are coordinating agencies, there are different agencies we need to coordinate, maybe the security agencies and the Federal Ministry of Education, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of External Affairs, and even at the state level we have LGAs, SUBEBs. We need to coordinate with them and also make them aware what is the role and responsibility, and to ensure the safe school. So the second part is the coordination role everyone has to play, and most importantly is at the role at the community level, and that where we need the community volunteers to highlight and to put signal as well, like, okay, this is the area is coming more prominent to attack, so to bring in local volunteers and orient the school-based management communities and also the teachers to identify the most vulnerable schools and make them alert. So these are the key roles need to be played at the school level and the community level.
The security agency are encouraged to leverage on locals and community leaders as sources of intelligence gathering, coupled with the need to act fast on any intelligence obtained to nip any threat of attack in the bud, even before it occurs.
The government security agencies cannot operate without effective intelligence gathering. And the state we are in now, there is no security agencies that will toil with proper intelligence. Because as they get the intelligence, they act. Everybody knows what the period we are in now. So the government security agencies are, like I said earlier on, they are prepared. As we pass information to them, they are ready and they are on red alert to react to it. And again, let me not forget, part of the stakeholders we have are also the community where the schools are. You have the traditional rulers and you have the community. I encourage school owners to be in good harmony with the community in which the schools are located. And the traditional rulers too should also play a key role, because they have a role to play in safe school initiative, because each school are domiciled in a particular community, and the residents in that community respect the traditional institution. So we encourage our royal fathers in their various areas to also play a key role in intelligence gathering to the relevant security agencies, because they are the security agencies are the ones that have been saddled with that business of ensuring that safety and security is being carried on.
The deployment of security gadgets, including CCTV cameras and perimeter fencing of all schools, including having private security guards beef up security in schools, are some of the measures being canvassed.
Part of what we should put in place, which, if I'm talking from the perspective of the FCT, part of what FCT have put in place right now is adequate security. We have the security personnel being deployed to every school, every public school. Then we also have the vigilantes too, complementing the effort of the government security agencies deployed to school. But the major worry now is for the private schools. Do they really have the security templates that will effectively ensure that parents are confident that when their wards go back to school, they will be, their ward will be secured? And that leads me to the fact that the private schools needs to really collaborate effectively with the government security agencies, the nearest police division in their vicinity, the nearest security agency like the civil defense offices, like the DSS offices close to their vicinity. That should be their major concern now. But for the government, for the public schools, the FCT administration are on top gear, and they put every machinery in place to ensure that the children are secured as they resume back to school.
The government and school administrators are advised to avoid citing schools in isolated areas, as this portends danger and exposes children to attacks.
Of course, security and safety of school children should be paramount as the new session begins. Parents and guardians have the right to interface with school authorities for the safety and security of their wards, just as we expect that the spate of attacks on schools will become a thing of the past. That brings us to the end of this episode of 30 Minutes. Do well to keep safe and be patriotic. I am Mitaire Ikpen. Bye for now.